All right, I think we're live. We're trying to run off our Generax here. Thank God for that thing. What a freaking just. I mean, the last month or so. The last 4 years. Jesus. When does it stop? Do you just keep being challenged your entire existence? Even at this age of mine, you think you catch a little bit of a break, a little bit of wind here. It's just been one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, and you just keep fighting mountain after mountain, keep climbing, seeing how far you can go. It's one of those things. So first off, good morning, everybody. Those that decide to come on, another last minute thing. I wasn't planning on doing too much. Uh, I'll go for a little bit. That Generax was the best thing that we ever put up, along with the solar panels. It's really kept us alive. We've been without power for the last 4 or 5 days, but this thing keeps the house running pretty good. You just don't run the air at night, so the house gets a little stuffy. During the day, if it gets warm, fortunately it's been cooler, low 80s, 78. We can deal with it. We open up the house, try to get out. Um, hasn't been too bad. Most of the time we're out there trying to just get everything kind of figured out and cleaned up because it was a mess. Um, this thing came in south of us, and we caught the northern part of it, and it really threw a beating on our area. Um, and of course, we're one of the last 12 people that need power in this area, and of course, they don't give a shit. They're gonna they're gonna take care of the bigger areas. And these guys are working their butts off and doing the best they can. They really can. But I got my elderly mother-in-law upstairs. Up there, and then I got my daughter down there. She has no water or power. Fortunately, we have water, so she can come up here. Um, we had we had gotten my son had gotten a sponsorship and put up these solar panel batteries that we put up onto the carport. And what they do is they charge these batteries, and you have them as you can use them to charge stuff. Well, we have these battery generators, which all we want to do is just keep a couple of refrigerators going. Her fridge and my mom-in-law's fridge. And then we got an extension cord running up so we can run a fan up to the small house. So my mom-in-law doesn't cook up there. So we've been able to charge those things, and it'll keep her refrigerator, the little tiny battery generator, once fully charged, takes about 30 minutes to charge, and then runs for about 2.5 hours. The other one that we had for the bigger fridge down by my daughter's, we charge it up for about 45 minutes to an hour. It runs for about 6 hours. So that's been a blessing. So we've been very self-sufficient. It's been tough. There's been a lot of anxiety, of course. People just, they'll put the power on the minute you got to go back to work. That's just the way it is. And you're exhausted from these stupid storms. The prep work, the cleanup. It's been 2 in a row. But we learned a lot of things. We really did. I said in a video that I did yesterday, for the few of you that might have saw it, when we were at the other house, after being in Florida for 30 years, you knew your pattern, you knew your weakness of your home, you knew what you had to do, how you prepare for a storm, no matter which way the wind goes. Well, we've been here 2 years. We haven't had a major storm come through. We had a couple of tropical storms, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. And you kind of get an idea, but it's not until you really get tested, with 110, 115, and you're going, okay, are the solar panels going to hold up? Is the roof going to hold up? Did they do a good job when they put the new roof on? That was one of the first things that we knew that we had to do. um, the chicken coops, are the cows going to be safe? The fence lining, we still got water oaks out there. Which ones did we miss that might, have weaknesses, branches? Um, there are just so many variables. Then they put up that pergola. It says it's wind resistant for 120. Well, we had 120-mile-an-hour winds whipping through here. Is it going to hold? It held, but boy, it was scary. And the worst thing is, a lot of times these things come rumbling through here at night, so you can't see what's going on, and you're praying, am I going to wake up in the morning and find this, that, and the other? A lot of people, you see the devastation on the coast and everything else like that, and you just try to stay as smart as you can. Then on top of it, Amanda had brought home this flu, which my granddaughter ended up with pneumonia. My wife ended up with pneumonia. I have pneumonia, and you are trying to get through this. And I was talking to my brother, and it was pretty funny because I felt like Gene Hackman in the Poseidon Adventure. You just, everything that can go against you, you're trying to get to the bottom of the stupid shit. You're taking all this ragtag, my family, which is, ragtag family with all these different personalities, and trying to get them. And then finally you get to the point where you just throw yourself over to the damn thing and just say, something, do me a favor, take me instead, because I can't take this anymore. And you just get to that point, and that's kind of right where I am right now. We're praying we get at least the power on today, with a little luck. I don't hold it against those guys. Those guys are busting their back ends. You got people coming in. Our governor has done a great job. He's a great governor. Um, um, really has always put the people first here in Florida. We've been very lucky, and we are Floridians, okay? And we find a way to fight through this. We really do. And for us, it's about perseverance and all the other stuff. So, we got through this one mountain. We're just trying to get to the end of it. And now, we're heading into the next phase. He's got his big operation. It was supposed to be tomorrow. But because of the weather, they pushed it off till Thursday. So he's got to go down there on Thursday. So, we got that. There's a lot of variables with that. We're hoping that, he hangs in there and, everything goes good for that. That's a long road to recovery. It's going to be a lot on us trying to, next man up, pick up the pieces. So we're hoping to clear this to move into our next hurdle. And, like I said, one of the big things I wanted to do is have, this auction and, raise up a little money to bridge our gap. Hopefully I'll be able to get that going this week. We'll see. Had to push it off, storms and other stuff, and just the constant pressure. But this is nothing that nobody, that is unusual. We are constantly dealing with different things. All of us in our lives, no matter what it is, they're just struggles, and we just fight hard and just keep going, and that's about it. I'm going to try to get a couple of reviews, a review or two done this morning. I'm going to be reviewing, and it's just been disappointing game after disappointing game lately. I just don't think companies really care anymore that much, to be honest with you. Everybody's doing these video games, these IPs, trying to make a quick buck, and I really think that they're garbage. I went and I spent a lot of money for Worms, the collector's edition board game, because I thought it was something that I go, something, I think this might work with my grandkids at some point. What a piece of garbage. What a piece of garbage. But that's just kind of the way Mantic has been lately. They are the Dollar General of board gaming. And I think you'll only understand that if you are in the South. Piggly Wiggly. But it's just uneventful. And I was so disappointed. But, you know, what are you going to do? But we'll talk about it. I'll tape it at some point. I can tell you this much. I just trying to get ahead and get things squared away. Hopefully get the power going and do that. Alexis, how are you? Hope you're doing all right. What else do we got going on here? Just a lot of cleanup, a lot of exhaustion. I think I need a really good vacation. I need a lot of time away from a lot of things. And just get some air underneath me, I think. And you just kind of figure out things, I guess. That's the best way to put it. You know, you just get to a point where you're just burnt out. You're just burnt out. Boy, I was, you know, the one thing that you do is I got my little iPad, and you know, the satellite has been fantastic for us, keeping us in the loop. You know, thanks to Elon Musk and Starlink. You know, just a little bit of power and that thing runs, and we don't lose anything. It's really just helped us. So, you know, kind of passed the time. So I sat with my iPad and I was watching stuff, and I saw that they came out with a Commodore 64, or Commodore. The company is back, and they made a brand new Commodore 64. And I was like, wow, that really looks cool. And it's just such a throwback to the old days. And, you know, I was just like, you know, I just starting to have different types of things that I want to do. D. how are you? Hey, Rob and all. Actually caught you live. Hope everything is better for you. You know, we're fighting. Yeah, that's all you can do. You know, it's just a mad rush. Just try to keep things going. Like I said, I'm going to try to get the auction going this week, hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. And I'll come on live. Hopefully we'll have power by then. They said today by midnight, so who knows? You know, we're always the last in line anyways. It's a farm, nobody cares. They're just so backed up with everything. These guys are fighting. I mean, really fighting. They've got to be bordering on exhaustion. You know, you got a couple million people out of power, and you're trying to accommodate everybody. You know, they're doing the best they can. You know, you're trying to piece together a state that is just devastated, you know, been beat up on, you know, and it's tough. It's tough, you know, because everybody wants to try to, you know, the first thing you want to do is when it's over, clean it up and try to pick up the pieces and go forward. And, you know, the storm leaves, but the damage doesn't. Farms are a lot of work. ESP with big animals. Yeah, especially with big animals. Yeah, they're good. You know, they just do their own thing. We are supposedly supposed to be sending Loki off to our vets because he's getting too aggressive with the little girls. So we're going to send him over there, let him roam around and get all his oats out of his system. The guy's got over 500 acres. So he's going to send one of his cowboys over. We're going to get the big boy out of here for a little bit. It's kind of tough, you know, especially since he's a walk-on. You know, we want to just kind of take some of the pressure off. Farmers, one of the most important professions. Without farmers, no food. Yeah, you would think. But, you know, it's a weird thing how this whole planet works nowadays. It's really scary and weird times. I was trying to tell my son that yesterday, and he had some crazy ideas in his head, and I go, something, sometimes just laying low and staying out of the way and letting things fall where they are, and knowing, because you never really know what the truth of anything is from anybody from any side, but just really try to take a deep breath here and try to catch our breath, um, and figure our next move. Nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. You have to change, and you have to adapt with a lot of things, and sometimes that's not always the easiest thing to do. Um, so we're in a process where we're trying to figure out what our next move is, and it has not been easy. This has just been really a lot of pressure on this family. We have been tested for so damn long for the last 4 years, between my sickness, my wife's sickness, the move here, the adjustments here. It just really is tough. Yeah, I don't see how they got enough linemen for all the disaster streams from Florida to Georgia to Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. It's mind-boggling. They pull them from all different parts of the country, and these people, these men and women, come down here and tirelessly work, trying to put people's lives together, and all the power to them. All the power to them. People get upset with them and stuff like that because they just want their lives back, and I get it. But you got to give grace to get grace. And these poor people, you see them out in the fields. At their setup zones. We were driving. We took the dogs out for a ride yesterday, and we went down to. I had to stop down at my work, and so I said, well, why don't we do it today? So we drove down there. It was just nice to get in the car, try to go for a ride and get away from everybody, because we've had to be the answer for everything, and the devastation, and just you could see it on people's faces, their body languages, the fatigue, the it's not just this. You got this election, which is very high stakes for both sides. You have, this just, wars and weather and survival and tough times and everything else that people are going through, and you just see it at this point. People are beaten down. They keep going, but they are really beaten down, and we were actually feeling it yesterday. We're driving, we're going, we're so worried about ourselves, which of course, you're going to be worried about us getting power, making sure my mother-in-law's all right, making sure my daughter's okay, that the kids aren't all cooped up and stuff like that, trying to just get back to normal. And some of these people aren't going to be normal for years. Big tree through a house, just unbelievable devastation. And you got to be thankful that you come out of it okay. I mean, we got banged up pretty badly, and it's going to cost us some money to get this back up and running properly. But we have our lives, we have each other to rely on, and we'll find our way through it. And that's the best way to put it. There's always somebody that's got it worse, and you've got to be graceful, be thankful, and even though things are tough, work within your not means but comfort zone. Maybe that's a word for it. I had a drive. What did I do with it? Just thinking to myself, I go, yeah, maybe I should try to do some of these stupid things. Here's what you get with a collector's edition. You get a worms. Wow, that's worth almost $300. I gotta stop thinking about what you might want to see and just do the things that I might want to keep. And I think that'd be a lot smarter for me going forward, bringing games in. Boy, oh boy, some of the garbage I've run into lately. It's really just, it's pretty scary. And things that I think would be good, I think I'm just out of touch. I really do. I really, really, really do. Maybe I should just go backwards and start playing old stuff again. Volunteer to go over all the counties during disasters and tornadoes and ice storms. Yeah, volunteer. Yeah, they all volunteer. They seem like they are working in the worst conditions during when storms are still going on in the bitter cold, ice. My uncle was a tech for the old Bell telephone through to ATT, and he volunteered to go through go all over the country during big disasters, tornadoes, and ice storms. Just admirable, and they don't get the props that they really deserve. You know, they're the ones that are out there fighting it all the time, fighting it, giving everything they've got. You know, it's unbelievably brave, you know, and they don't get the credit they deserve, or the hero's welcome, or you know, presidential citations and stuff like that. No, instead somebody flies down a giant plane somewhere that somebody filled up full of food, and they take a few photo ops, and they're the hero, right? Meanwhile, these guys are out there on the ground, pounding, rescuing, you know, storms still going on, surges, trying to find people, animals, and everything else, exhausting themselves beyond human belief, you know, for crap pay. You know, some get good pay, some don't, you know, just trying to make a difference in people's lives, putting the greater good. Not many of that anymore. It's a different time. It's the me age. Mm, mm. And I'm fatigued. I am fatigued beyond human belief. But I don't get to sit flat, you know. I got to keep going. I got to, you know, pray that we can get everything up and going. And then, like I said, you know, it's the next mountain to climb. Dust off, take a deep breath, take a swig of your diet cream soda. She got diabetes. Oh, my sugar. And I've been taking some steroids for this pneumonia, and it shoots my sugar through the roof. I've been in the 350s, plus the stress level. Haven't really been eating. And you know, you don't get a chance to take care of yourself because you've got to take care of others. And you know, you just got to keep everybody together. You know, like I said, it's the Poseidon adventure. And you know, I'm Gene Hackman. I'm about to go into that fiery water. But you give it everything you got. You don't lose faith in yourself or your family, and you put your, you know, hey, don't get me wrong. We've had, you know, during this storm, we've had a few confrontations, me and my son, because again, you know, thinking he knows everything and he don't. But you know, you just do the best you can. What's up, kid? You all right? I pulled Grammy's battery in. So I'll get her charged up. We'll get that over there. And it's just, I have a certain way of doing things, very proficient, very well thought out, very calculated in what I try to do. And sometimes we just don't understand or don't look at every variable. And I think that's youth. I was probably the same way, if not worse. And, you have to look at things and you have to understand that you are fighting nature. And it has a way of doing it. Well, I'll throw some sandbags on this and that'll be enough. No, you don't know. You got to learn a little science here too. Wind gets underneath anything. You lay a concrete brick on a bar. What do you think is going to happen when that wind comes up? That concrete brick ain't going to mean nothing. Because it's the forces, and you're trying to explain this, and you go, no, we have to do something different. I'm not, okay. And then in the middle of a storm, when everything's tipped over and flying around, and you're cursing the seven seas, that's no way to handle things. You can't sit there and mother F everything and, no, this is on you. So what you do is, instead of yipping and yelling about it, solve the problem. Solve the problem, learn from it, get better from it. And, there's been plenty of times during these events that I've just go, okay, you've got to learn hard lessons. And I think, especially when you got two young kids, 5 and 3, you're trying to keep them grounded. You got a wife that's not very well right now. You got yourself that's not doing very well. And you are just trying to get by any way you can. You can get sloppy. But I always say that when you lead, you're not allowed to be sloppy. Okay? If you are going to lead your family and you are going to make decisions that are going to affect other people's lives, you cannot afford to be sloppy. You're going to make a mistake, but you've got to be able to accept that mistake, overcome that mistake, and somehow persevere through that mistake. And it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. And then, on top of this, running all this and all these problems, you got your day-to-day life. You got to make sure that you keep up with your job. You stay sharp there. You got to stay sharp, with the day-to-day things, and make sure that everybody has what they need. It's a lot, and all of us go through it. I'm not telling any of you anything that you don't know or you're not living through. And I'm finding now, as I progress farther, and I look at my age and stuff like that, that I'm becoming a lot more tolerant, or I just don't give two shits, to be honest with you. We've lost a lot of people that watch, and now, where it used to bother me, it don't bother me anymore. So people say stupid comments or stuff like that. They don't bother. I just go, okay, yeah, whatever. And they get upset because I don't give you some kind of emotional response. I got too many big things over my head. I do this because it keeps me away from things. I enjoy it still. And the few people that appreciate it still, there's still a reason to do it for. And it's not a competition with everybody else. It's not this, that, or the other. At this point, excuse me, it's just my own little world, my own little thought patterns. And, I'm just hoping that we can just get over this bridge over the next couple weeks. I can take a nice deep breath, get this place straightened up, get some more stuff out of here, um, and kind of get back to basics and just really just try to have a lot of fun. Have you played Maladum yet, Rob? Yeah, it's right over there, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I've been working on it. I'm going to probably tape it this week. I've been trying to uh, get to it, but it's one of those things that I just haven't had a chance. I think Maladum is one of the best games that Battle Systems put together. I love core space, and when you take core space and you add a fantasy element to it, I was hoping that I got the Kickstarter edition. I thought I was getting more with it. I didn't, and I was pretty disappointed over that. So I've got to try to hunt that stuff down. I'm going to try to write them and say, hey, is there any way that you guys can get me over the expansion? I would really appreciate it. um, but this is something that I really am very high on. I think they're doing. I think they're doing a great job with it. It's one of the bright spots, along with a couple other things that I thought were going to stink are good, and things that aren't that I thought were going to be good stink. So it's been really. I wonder if this is now all that that when people start developing things, like a couple of years ago, is this the fallout from those times? Because it just doesn't happen. When you think when COVID and all that stuff was around, and people were working on things and developing things, that are you seeing the effects of what these companies went through? So I try to put that into an equation. But there have been some really great things that have come out this year, and you go, whoa, hey, wait a minute, not so fast, Rob. People were able to do it, but there's also been just kind of a lot of blasé garbage that's been thrown out, and a lot of things that have just been brilliant too. So, I guess that's with anything. When you got a guy like Little Monk that can, rebuild a beautiful system like Warhammer Quest and do special things. When you have, all these, Agemonium and things like that come out, Primal, um, really excel. Um, it just when people put out garbage, it's just it's sloppiness. Well, we'll live off this IP. This will get us until we can figure something out. That's what with some companies it feels like, and then other companies, you go, hey, something you really reinvented the wheel here, and you did something really great. And usually I'm somebody that I like to view games that are fun. I like to be positive. Um, and I like to show a game that I'm having fun with, because it's really not fun to make a video that you go, I didn't like this. People's lives are at stake and stuff like that, and I always feel guilty about it. But then again, when it's just one thing after another, and it's kind of like, well, we're just going to get that out there because, there you go. It's a poor man's whatever. Um, I get to the point where I go, I just can't hide this. I just can't. You have to be honest, but you don't want to hurt anybody either. But when you play something and you pay all kinds of money, and then you go, well, that was not worth it. You could have put that all in one box. It's and you'll see what I mean by tomorrow's video. It's just okay. I just wasted. Money's not easy for people. When you work for some of this credit that sometimes I get, or somebody sends you something, You want to be positive, but if it's not good, it's just not good. And you have to be honest. And you don't want to hurt anybody. A lot of tension in the world uh, contributing to supply chain issues. I think it's affected delivery on a few Kickstarter campaigns. True, true, but also um, I can understand that, and that's not a big deal. But supply chain doesn't make a bad game. Okay, if a game's just garbage, it's just garbage. And not everything's gonna, and again, it's opinion is relative. Um, and if you hear a noise in the back, that's the Generacs, so I apologize for that. Not all things are good, and they're rushed. These companies are trying to keep people uh, alive. There's some major companies that are making some cuts, and I've got friends that are fearing for their jobs. They really are. Really, really fearing for their jobs. And it's just an absolute shame. um, and there's been a lot of layoffs. Things are tough. And I have one friend that's dealing with a bunch of stuff, layoffs and things like that. And then, they live up in South Carolina. They were out of power for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And they work from home. And, trying to figure out how they're going to survive. And, it's just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It really is. There's no escaping, things. The last 4 years, I bought over 100 board games, but most of the time I play only my top three: chess, risk, and diplomacy. All good games. You can never go wrong with chess. I was playing, kind of funny, I was playing battle chess on my Amiga emulator. And I forgot how much I love that game. Or Chess Master 2000. That was a classic. I'm not a great chess player. Just started playing 4 Against Darkness under Area 51. I love it. 4 Against Darkness and Alone Against Fear. Got physical copies. Your tutorial playthroughs got me hooked. Oh, well, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I hadn't even heard of that new Heroes of Might and Magic game until I saw you mention it. I looked at some of the reviews also to see what all the hype, but I couldn't see much of attraction to it. And I'm glad I only got the base game because I love the computer game. And all that made me do is I opened it up and I started messing with it and I go, wow, this is just so overcomplicated. I go, there's a lot to this. I go, you know what? I'm just going to go turn on the game. And I started playing that and I started playing King's Bounty and I'm like, oh, I got it on my Steam Deck. I go, what's the point here? And I think anytime they come out with a video game for a board game, I'm just going to skip over it. I think I've learned my lesson. This Worms is the last straw for me. And that's that. God, I'm just looking at all this stuff. And I feel like I'm going to start going back to basics. I just dug out a big tote, and I want to do a little bit more of 4 Against Darkness. I want to get my mat back out, my glass, and just start, doing these random adventures, D100 again, and just have some fun with it. That's what I thought. It was a computer game first, yeah, and the computer game is beautiful. they've done a couple of editions of it. Might and Magic, the original series, was very, very, very good from New World's computing, and then they turned it into what you have now, which is the Heroes edition of it. I think it went up to 5 or 6 or something like that. I don't know. Matter of fact, I saw it on Steam. They're doing another edition of it. I have not touched D&D for decades. Brought back so much memories. The group I played with D&D got too involved with dice sometimes. Felt like a math class. Yeah. With Four Against Darkness and stuff like that, you're going to do a lot of rolling, but I don't know, it fits for some reason. And, what you run into. Excuse me. I started looking at Zaya, a game I absolutely love. Ambers of a Forsaken Star. One of the greatest underrated games of all time. Sandbox space game. Beautiful. I'm looking to do some of those things and just go back in time a little bit. And just kind of reignite. Not that I don't have a love for gaming. It's just reignite some of my passion back and take a deep breath and do some things. I bought also a lot of the Four Against Darkness books because of your videos. So thank you, Alexis. I appreciate that, my brother. It means a lot to me. I really do try to help. I really do. I try not to make myself smart, seem like I'm smarter than everybody else. A lot of these guys, well, I played this board game and I feel this because I'm the smartest guy in the room. No, you're not. You're no different than me and anybody else. I'm no different than any of you. I played it. This is what I think. Take it for what it's worth. If it excites you, and you go out and you get something and it works for you, man, I did a great job. If you get it and you go, this is all right, then you know something. Maybe I'm not the guy to watch. We all don't have the same taste. I don't know where I missed it way back. Probably that period of years when I was so busy with a job and just didn't have a decent PC. I collected old PC games from the late 80s and 90s. I'm doing, the channel is kind of changing hair, not much, but I'm including a lot of the old 80s and 90s PC games and just overall gaming, role-playing games and stuff like that, and different types of games that you can still enjoy and how to get them free and kind of, for very little, get a lot. And I'm really trying to, I've got a couple of videos that will be coming up in a couple of weeks. I haven't been able to finish because we don't have power. But I've been breaking down some things that I think that you guys would really enjoy. Yeah, it's not the greatest graphics in the world, but it's the gameplay. And it's the imagination. It's the wonderment. It's the, it brings back maybe some of your childhood, maybe some things that you never experienced if you are younger. And just another outlet in some very difficult times. And that's what I'm hoping to do with the series, is to really showcase some of this stuff and bring some thrills back to you guys. So, we'll do everything that we possibly can to get that going. And like I said, I still got farm videos. I've got game reviews. I've got opinions. I've got all kinds of stuff. So, we're still doing what we got to do. But now to have to refurbish an old PC to play a lot of them. No, you don't have to, Arnett. Watch my video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Although I'm catching up with stuff and finding out there's emulators for playing most of the old stuff. Yes, that's the way you're going to want to go. And there, I'm going to show you a couple sites. If you go to exo.dos, exo.dos.com, download the 5 gig file, and you'll be able to pick and pull down whatever old games that might excite you. And they run on the emulators. It's all built in, it's an all built-in thing, and it's a passion project by a couple of guys. If you just want to try some of the older games, 4 Against Darkness is really fun. I just got the D100 and I'm trying it out next. You'll really like that. Martin's a brilliant man. I do like the bookkeeping gameplay of the game, of what I have seen. The book keeps gameplay, the bookkeeping gameplay is really sweet. Yes, I agree 110%. There are just so many things out there that you can do to pass your time, and you don't have to go out and spend tons and tons of money. I've spent a lot, I have over 200,000 games, video games, and I'll never play them all in my lifetime, but I got them, and it's through emulators and stuff like that. And there are just times I go, I think I have this, and then you go dig it out, and then there's an afternoon that you just really enjoyed, or an evening, that you absolutely just get to forget about some of the problems that we're going through right now. These stupid just like to give power back, really would, just to kind of get everybody back to where we need to get them. We'll see. It's in God's hands, I guess. All right, I've got so much I've got to do. We're trying to keep everybody running. We're exhausted. I'm exhausted. It was nice to catch up and just kind of put you guys where we're at. We've got a big week. I'm going to pray that we get our internet back today. If we do, I'll come back tomorrow since I'm off. It is Columbus Day. I'll come on for a little bit. Maybe I can fit something in. Maybe we can talk a little bit more. Maybe we can kind of figure out where, my next move is here and how I want to handle things. I'm kind of behind on stuff, but, I can't help where I'm at. And, we've been against things. I still have not painted my Hero Quest miniatures. I will study your painting videos and then I will start. I need to finish mine up too. Cool, I meant. Okay, the message input box only allows so that any characters to input. It messes up my grammar. Praying you guys. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you that watch. I really do. And the ones that don't, that's okay too. This isn't about a popularity contest for me. It's just about doing something I still believe in, and I'm enjoying it. I don't care if I'm irrelevant anymore. I don't. I really don't. It's just something that really frees my soul a little bit, and I like coming on here talking. You don't get to vent very much to anybody because nobody really wants to listen. So even though you're on the other side sitting here listening to this going, oh God, here he goes again, at least I don't have to look at you shaking your head, right? I could just keep going for as long as I want to go. But I'm very thankful and very blessed to have you as a community. I love you all very, very, very much. I hope all of you stay safe, and for those of you that are suffering and going through this and having a lot worse than us, we feel for you, we're thinking of you, and we're adding you to our prayers. Everybody just try to stay safe, stay calm, stay sane. These are tough, tough times, and we'll get through them together. and that's why we're here together. And if we come together as a community, come together as people, um, and and care about all people, not just people that have our same beliefs, but just people in general, and respect everybody and care about everybody and come to a mutual understanding and a mutual love for each human being, we will be a better place and we will come out of this 100% better than ever before. So, for all of you out there, just do your best, have your best days, and think of some of the people, very unfortunate people here in Florida, that have, and in North Carolina and Georgia, that have lost so much and don't know what's going to happen from day to day. Us, a lot of cleanup, throw some money at it. If you put hard work into it, you'll come out the other side on the positive note. You always do. And that's what we will keep doing. We will keep fighting. My son, we're hopeful. And we have some really big challenges ahead, but we will keep fighting. And that's what you have to do. Never give up, never surrender. Great movie. Take it easy, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you.
This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints. Discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Go ahead. No, you're good.